This is the Yunzii AL80, and this is a keyboard that I've been wanting to pick up for a very long time now, and I finally got it on my hands here, and we're going to be taking a look at it today. Obviously, you've seen my other YouTube videos about the other Yunzii keyboards that I've tested on the channel here, but this one's definitely the most premium one, and also coming in at the most premium price point. I say premium price point, but it's around $105 after tax on Amazon with some coupon codes that they usually have baked into the price as well. So yeah, this keyboard pretty much has everything that I could possibly want out of a keyboard in terms of size, features, connectivity, and of course materials as well. So before we unbox this keyboard, we're going to be talking about some of the key specs that comes with this keyboard. Obviously, like most Yunzii keyboards, they're pretty stacked in terms of features. It has the Cocoa Cream V2 switches. That's one of the more popular switches from Yunzii's lineup, and it's definitely one of my favorite keyboards in this price category of keyboards that are not Hall effect. And then on top of that, you also have options for Gate-Around Zero switches if you didn't want the Cocoa Cream V2 switches. And then obviously you have some color options as well with both switch options as well. So you have this beige color scheme, you have a black and white color scheme, and then you have the silver color scheme, which we have on review for us today. And this keyboard comes in at $109. Right now on Amazon, there's even a coupon that's 10% off, so it brings it just below $100, so that's pretty cool. And aside from all the padding that's inside this keyboard and the gasket mount setup, this keyboard is pretty solid. So we're gonna go ahead and unbox it, and you're gonna be able to see exactly what this keyboard looks like out of the box, what the unboxing experience looks like. And then we're gonna jump into a typing test so you can see and hear how this keyboard sounds. And then at the end of the video as well, what I don't normally do, we actually have a B75 from Yunzii on hand. So it's the plastic version pretty much of this exact layout here, just a little different. So you can hear what the difference is between the aluminum casing sounds like compared to the plastic. All right, so taking a look at the AL80, we have the, of course, traditional unboxing experience. Now, I will also say the box is pretty heavy, so I have high hopes for this aluminum framing. And I actually think I have taken a look at an aluminum keyboard from Yunzii a while ago, but I don't think it had the Cocoa Cream V2 switches. So I'm more interested to hear if there's any difference with the aluminum casing that causes this keyboard to sound even better. But yeah, the unboxing experience, like most keyboards at this caliber, are pretty nice. You have, of course, your wireless mechanical keyboard guide, tells you how to connect and everything in multiple languages. Setting that off to the side, you have a big helper here. This is basically the kind of connectivity, like cheat sheet as well. So it gives you more of the tri-mode connectivity options, and it also gives you more types of connections. It tells you something about the OLED screen, which it has, which is pretty cool. And then function knob settings as well. And also, this will go over and do shortcuts for RGB settings. So, and then obviously we have the AL80 right here. So removing off this plastic cover here, we have the keyboard itself. And this thing's pretty heavy. So what's really cool about this keyboard too is it has this like nice, cool, kind of a chromatic metal piece right here, which is the weight for the keyboard, which I think it looks really awesome. So we're gonna unbox this in just a second, but just making sure there's nothing else in the package. There's some nice stiff foam to keep it nice and protected during shipping. Then you have your accessories box right here. And this is usually gonna come with maybe some spare keycaps. You know, you're gonna have your dongle as well. Yeah, like I said, some spare keycaps. They kind of fought me to get them out. But yeah, you have a couple keys, command and more command keys, home options, things like that, to where you can change them out on the actual keyboard and kind of give you a more monochrome color scheme if you didn't want some of these other keys on them. So the switch, this is a hot swap keyboard, so you will get some kind of keycap puller or something like that in this little baggie right here. And it's actually a both, so you can swap the switches if you wanted to down the road. If you just like this aluminum case and you wanted to move over to some new switches, and it's currently stuck inside the cable, to keycap and switch puller, so we like to see that. The cable is kind of the only thing that I'm not the biggest fan of. It's a pretty short, and it's also a pretty kind of just basic USB-C cable. It is USB-C though, so that's a plus, but if it were me and it was my setup at home, I would definitely invest in some kind of really nice coiled C cable. You can find them on Amazon for like 10, 15 bucks, or you can kind of get the bougie one, like the Glorious one, which I own, for like 27, 28. I think it's a really nice option for an artisan looking keyboard like this one here. But unboxing experience is pretty nice. We're gonna set this off to the side, and we're gonna get some first impressions on the actual keyboard itself, because this thing looks really, really solid, literally. So taking this plastic piece off here, we reveal the keyboard itself. And there's also a peel on the back here to peel off the little bubbles and stuff there. But yeah, this thing feels awesome. Got the OLED screen peel here. And yeah, I went with the silver scheme. Obviously the black color scheme is really cool. And then if you wanted like a nice, unique looking colored keyboard, you have the beige option as well. But this thing feels sweet. The bezels on this thing, they're a little thin on the sides, but aside from that, the bezel up here is really nice. And then you also have your tri-mode connectivity up here on the top with the USB-C, Bluetooth, and 2.4. And then there's your dongle right there with a nice Yunzii label so you don't get them mixed up. and then AL80 right here. So this thing looks pretty awesome, and it sounds really creamy. I like it. From just initial impressions comparative to the B75, I will say it isn't too different, and obviously it feels more like a more premium keyboard. These Cocoa Cream switches are really awesome. I'll actually pop one of these guys off for you so you can kind of see what it looks like. Yeah, it's kind of in there, but this is the Cocoa Cream V2. So Cocoa, I guess you mean, is that that brown color scheme right there. And then it's almost like a box style switch as well. And these are also cherry profile for your switches, for your keycaps and everything like that too. So if you ever wanted to switch over to some new keycaps, it's your most popular shaped keycap design. So gives you some customization options for that as well. So turning on the wireless so we can kind of see what the RGB looks like. RGB on these keyboards is pretty solid. So obviously we have some really, really large lights on this right now, but you can still see through pretty nicely. They are only on the backlight. There's no shine through on the keys themselves, and they also have like a nice kind of matte feeling to them. So they're not slippery keycaps by any means, so that's a nice thing to see. And then here's your little OLED screen, which is cool. So it tells you battery life, the date, and then a little eyes and things like that. And also connectivity options right here, which are kind of shows you the mode that it's in. So pretty nice. You also have your volume dial. This feels really, really nice and sturdy as well. Minimal movement and stuff, so we like to see that. And I do love the color scheme too. I think it looks really, really sleek. Yeah, this keyboard is a nice looking option. And my only complaint with the old B75 Pro and all those other like $60, $70 keyboards is that they are plastic, and they do feel a little cheaper sometimes, but this keyboard basically just takes away my only complaint with it and adds not only a screen, but the aluminum case, which feels nice and heavy and sleek. And I think this really does pretty much make a perfect keyboard for just someone looking for like an enthusiast level keyboard without spending over $120. So this is a nice option. Obviously, we're gonna go ahead and jump into a typing test now. You guys have probably heard what this sounds like before, but we're gonna go straight into it and hear if there's any differences. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that typing test of the Yunzii AL80. Now, before we move over to the comparison of the regular B75 and the AL80 to see if the aluminum keyboard upgrade is worth it, we're gonna be talking about the screen, because one of my friends actually bought one of these keyboards recently and he actually had some questions about it, so thought I'd dive deep into it and give you guys a bit of a tutorial on how to use the screen as well, since sometimes it can be a little confusing. The bright side is that this one is pretty straightforward. It can be a little sketchy sometimes with these, not as name brand keyboard manufacturer websites. So we're gonna go into it. It's pretty straightforward, and mine worked just fine. And once you get it downloaded, it's pretty easy to use. So we're gonna go ahead and move you guys over to the screen here. And sorry if this isn't like anything crazy in terms of video quality, but it's just the easiest way to do it. So we're gonna basically go ahead and when you look into your little owner's manual, little cheat sheet that I mentioned earlier, this little guy, sorry it's not too bright, you basically head to what I did is I looked up Yunzii keyboard AL80 keyboard software, and then you hit the first one, you head straight down to the AL80, and you can see all the options here. So essentially what you're going to do, if you just want to configure the LCD screen, you basically are going to skip these two files, the JSON file and the VIA website file. These two are basically, I went ahead and downloaded them as well, and they're web-based software. Whenever you want to customize the actual keyboard, you don't have to download an app or anything. You can just go to this website right here. You have to download the JSON file, you also have to have it plugged in via USB. Connect this right here, and then when you connect that, then you can kind of go in here and change all of your lighting, things like that. So this is if you want to get really technical with it. My recommendation is just to use the onboard RGB control on the keyboard, so you don't have to use this app. But more on the software, you're basically going to press LCD software. It's going to take you to this weird website right here, and essentially what you're going to do is you're going to download this file right here. You press download, You're going to open it, it's going to run, and you just have to basically install it. And then you're going to open up something like this here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys actually what you have to do. Basically, it's going to pop up in the downloads called AL80 LCD Screen EXE. And you just press English for the installation. You're just going to press this, and it's going to install on your PC. And then you just got to, it should pop up on like a little desktop app. And this is what it looks like. So it's going to basically just be a small little screen here. And then you can pick up the options between either pic set or GIF set. So you can do like a basic standard picture, or you can do a GIF. So I'm going to just show you guys the GIF. I ended up downloading the PopCat GIF, this little dude right here. And I went to my basically go to my downloads. Yeah, so you basically go back to the website, you press upload GIF, and you're going to go to your downloads. And then here's my PopCat GIF. You press open. And then you basically, all you have to do is just basically save GIF to device, and you can set your frame rate. Since this is like a 3-frame GIF, I'm gonna drop the frame rate down to like 11 FPS. Save GIF to device. It's gonna take a quick second, it's gonna buffer, and then it's basically just says don't do anything while it's doing this. So you just let it sit there for a second, and that's pretty much it. It'll pop up a little thing, transfer complete. And then when you look down here at my keyboard, there's my little PopCat. So yeah, it's not too complicated on the GIF process. You can obviously set your own picture or something like that. Just make sure that it's, you know, in the size frame of the rectangle here. So that's only like that's the only drawback. But aside from that, the GIF software is not too complicated. I just recommend using the onboard keyboard gliding controls on the keyboard if you're just planning to do that, since it's going to be a little easier to use. So that's pretty much it. We're going to go ahead and compare the B75 to the AL80 now. All right, guys, we're going to be taking a quick comparison to the AL80 versus the B75. Basically, they're just the same exact keyboard. One's just aluminum, and one is plastic. Now, weight difference is insane. I didn't even realize. I've been holding this around for about an hour now, and this thing's like extremely light compared to the AL80s. One initial impression, actually, I didn't realize the main difference is actually crazy between the switch sounds. The B75 definitely has a higher pitched switch sound compared to the AL80. It just sounds a little more premium on the AL80 compared to the B75. And I didn't think it was going to be that big of a difference, but it actually is. The aluminum casing does make a pretty drastic sound difference between the two, despite them being the exact same switch. So I'm honestly pretty impressed with the AL80's build quality and the changes it makes to the really popular Cocoa Cream V2 switches. If it were me, I would definitely upgrade to the AL80. I think this pretty much has everything you could possibly want out of a keyboard. It's got the screen, it's got the tri-mode connectivity, it has the color schemes there for you if you have an option color, and it also has some switch types too. And getting it on sale around $100 I think is very worth it comparative to the B75. And you know, this is a great sub $70 keyboard if you're just looking for something, you know, just to get your setup up and running, and if you're a little more budget conscious, don't want to spend that $100 price point for the AL80, I get it. But personally, I think the keyboard's a great place to spend a little extra money on your setup to make it feel like that bit more of a premium setup. So I'll give you guys a quick close-up between the two. Pretty noticeable. Yeah, so it's got a little higher pitch, a little cheaper feel on the B75, but again, it's nothing crazy. I think both are great keyboard options. I just think for the more premium feeling and sounding keyboard, I think the AL80 takes the cake. So that's pretty much gonna wrap up this video. If you have any questions about the B75 or the AL80 or pretty much any keyboard that I've tested from Yunzii thus far, be sure to leave them down in the comments below. I'll be sure to help you out there. And I'm also gonna have a link to the AL80 in the description down below. It is an affiliate link and it will help us out, so be sure to use that if you wanted to pick one up. But thanks for watching, and if you all did, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.